Hey guys, Scott Franklin here from Scott Franklin Performance Coaching. I help people live awesome lives with no regrets. So today I've got with me Nathan Meola. Meola,
Hey man,
thanks for coming on, man.
thank you.
Today I wanted to share Meola's story with myself because we've been doing some coaching together for a bit of time now, and he's had one hell of a journey. He's been through a lot of stuff, so I just wanted to go through some of the things we've worked on, some of the challenges he's overcome, and to share a bit of his story too. So do you mind sharing with the people who are watching, where were you at when we first started doing some coaching together?
This was a couple of years ago. The place that I was at when I came to you, where we came across each other, I felt like everything was good. Like I felt like everything was on track, everything was moving. I had been through a transformation, a physical transformation, but there was a lot deep inside that was niggling me that I didn't even know about.
Yeah.
And when we first met, I had no idea that stuff was inside me. It manifested in ways such as going back to my parents' place for dinner or around my family and not being able to talk.
Yeah.
And feeling a lot of anger rising up inside me when my parents or a family member would ask me a question to the point where I couldn't even answer.
Yeah.
And we left dinner one night from my parents' place after this type of stuff happened, and I got in the car with my girlfriend, and she said, what's going on? What's wrong with you? As soon as you walk in the house, it's like you become a different person. I don't know who you are. And that was really the first time where I was like, oh, something's going on inside me. So it was that questioning that led me to you.
Yeah.
After I'd already done some kind of small stuff around emotions, just scratch the surface.
Yeah.
And then when I met you, that's where I was, and little did I know that my kind of whole world was about to open up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from my point of view, when we first started doing the coaching together, I just saw like massive amounts of potential in you, and I can see that you're going places and all that kind of stuff, and I just wanted to be on board with your journey. And I thought that when people come into our lives as coaches, right, I feel that they resonate with certain people for a certain reason, and generally it's because if we were both to reverse engineer our life, the things that we've been through are generally what we help other people with. So I feel that from the journey that you've been through, the people that are going to come to you are based upon your past experiences. So I thought, well, wouldn't it be awesome? Because I know that you've already got good skill sets and tools and techniques and stuff that you use to transform yourself and others. But I thought, I know how mine work, and I'm like, man, if Meola was using that as well with himself and his clients, it would just go to the. Well, I wanted to test out if it would go to the next level again. So, what experiences did you have? Like when I first started teaching you about the resilience techniques and stuff, how did you experience that yourself, and then how did you pass that on to your clients?
Yeah, so following on from where I was when I first met you, I was really closed, and I didn't know it. I didn't feel very many emotions. I didn't actually, it had been a long time since I'd laughed or felt any emotions whatsoever, but particularly anger was probably the main one, which I was quite proud of the fact that I didn't ever experience. And the techniques that you showed me was really my first introduction into looking at emotions, understanding them, processing them. I had done a little bit of stuff, but once you showed me these techniques, it kind of just opened up my understanding of what was going on inside me, and being able to label it. So I had only just started coaching, and I remember doing technique, going through a technique with you, and then pretty much taking it straight back and trying it on a client intuitively. And I didn't know the words, I didn't know what words you said, I didn't know anything about how you did it or why it worked, but I knew that it was powerful because I'd experienced it, and I took that client through essentially one of those sessions on a couple of the emotions, and I saw amazing results, and from that moment I was like, oh, okay, we got something.
We're on here.
Yeah.
That's really good. And how have you like utilised it in your day-to-day life, or when you come to challenges? Like, how is it? Are you still incorporating it? Are you using it with your clients now? Because for those of you who are watching, like Nathan's got a background in NLP and all that kind of stuff, so he's already got a great skill set and he's already got ways of doing it. So what I wanted to see from my point of view is how can it complement what you're already doing? So how have you kind of utilised it in that sense?
Yeah, so I mean, this whole journey for me is a journey about how I can use my individual unique skills to help people at the highest level.
Yeah.
Which obviously brings you to lots of different methodologies and modalities. And one of those is NLP. So I'm a master practitioner of NLP and timeline therapy.
Yeah.
And those techniques are incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
To help people through. However, I'm aware that just like anything, it's a tool. It's a tool to be used at the appropriate time with the appropriate person.
Yeah.
And to have a combination of the NLP, which can take a long setup or a long time, but is a really, really deep process.
Yeah.
The technique that you showed me is what I use on a daily basis.
Right.
Often throughout my own day, and because of how quick and simple and effective and powerful it is, you can just use it on the fly as you go. So very, very valuable toolkit, and like you often say, it can take a number of times to clear it out, but every layer you go down, you get deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
I use it personally with myself. I know now, after not blocking out my emotions, I feel anger, I feel guilt and sadness. So all these emotions still come up, and what I do now is simply take a second, take a deep breath, go through the process, to the point now where it's not even vocal for me anymore. It's kind of just it's the process that happens, and I can process the emotion and leave it and move on. I did it the other day. Really powerful.
How did you feel afterwards? How do you feel after the emotion switches off or releases?
When you get caught in what I like to call like an emotional cyclone, for instance, anger. The other day, I felt quite deeply into anger, and I said some things that weren't the best things to say.
Yeah.
And after I finished the situation, I was ready to walk straight back into another situation, which was totally separate.
Yeah.
It was just lunch with friends. And I said, if I go and sit down like this, then I can't predict where the conversation's going to go or what's going to happen because I'm essentially not present.
Yeah.
So I stopped myself, turned around and did the process, and just felt a lightness, a clarity, a calmness, a certainty.
Yeah.
And I was able to take that and bring my heart rate back down, go back and sit in the conversation at the table and be completely open with communication and be in charge of where the conversation goes.
It's good, so good, yeah. and when you're saying it, like it sounds, so simple now, but when, like some people, they never get past that, they don't get over that, they go back into the situation and let the old patterns resurface and it completely blocks them and gets in the way, so hey, that's fantastic to hear. Have you got one example you can share with us where you've worked with a client and one of the challenges they overcame and how they felt afterwards?
I work with people who are struggling with weight a lot of the time. So I like to look at the emotional reasons and deep causes of obesity and the patterns that arise that contribute towards that. And one of the common problems that I find is guilt from eating food.
Yeah.
So in this way, using this technique, I can very quickly and easily remove guilt when someone experiences guilt, not just around food, but around doing anything for themselves and why they're being held back from that. And guilt is a very heavy emotion, so it weighs a person down. And unless you can clear the very core root of the guilt, then a person sometimes has millions of different ways are opportunities to feel guilty throughout the day, and food's just one of them.
Yeah.
So to clear that out repeatedly really gives my clients the ability to deal with their own guilt around food, and that just transforms everything.
So how do they feel after it's released? Like, what's the feedback that they give you?
The feedback is like a clarity, and I guess we talk a lot about the authentic self. It's kind of like an understanding of what the guilt actually meant,
right,
and why they were feeling it. And for a lot of people, that clarity, so just to be clear, it's not like someone can go and eat all of this food that is against their value system and then not feel guilt, and we just wipe it away and they go on and continue. It's more of an understanding of why do you feel guilt, when do you feel guilt, and why do you feel guilt when you eat that particular food. Perhaps it's because it's against your value system. And that level of awareness is enough to make a person say, well, next time I'm not going to choose to eat that food because of the kind of signal that I got last time, which is the guilt. So I would say that the main thing is a clarity, a certainty in your own self.
Sounds good. So I guess the final part is sharing with us, because we've done an extended coaching program, so it's gone over a series of months. What's it been like to work with me and be coached by me? What is it like when we've extended the coaching program? Like, what's your journey been like with the whole process?
Well, it has been a process. It's been in depth. It's been kind of deep, and we've gone through kind of the whole gamut of diving into things and relearning lessons and the whole thing. So you as a coach really seem to just know what needs to be done, needs to be said at the time. And quite often it's weeks later that something that was said 2 weeks ago sinks in. And
then I get the phone call or the message.
And then you're going to be like, I
get it.
But I find, like you said, with a coach, you have to connect. You have to click, and that's where the transformations come. So with you and I feel like we click very well, and we kind of locked into that space and that place, and we're moving in very similar trajectories at the same time, so going through a lot of the same challenges at the same time, and that's been absolutely amazing
100%
to have as a coach. So, it really taught me about how better to be more able to apply the techniques, because I've got you there to walk through it and talk about it and understand why, and the depth of knowledge that you have about the technique and why to use it and how to use it is incredible.
Well, mate, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's been an absolute pleasure coaching you and working alongside you, etc., etc. I'm very grateful to have you in my life and to be part of your journey. So I just wanted to say thank you again.
Thanks.
And thank you for sharing your story with everyone watching.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.